Hey, this is me building and strategizing my 500 grand a year profit consulting business right in front of your eyes. What you're watching right here is a daily video series that always follows the exact same structure. I always start by answering your questions, meaning on this channel right here, you can head down into the comment section and ask me any question that you might have about your business. If you have a headache client, if you don't know what to share with your content, what offers to sell, how to use email or write copy or scale with paid ads, I'm here for you. You can ask any question you might have, then other people can see how I think about business, and hopefully it will be valuable and useful to you. Once I've answered the questions for about 15 minutes or so, I dive into business stats, which is me showing the growth of my YouTube, Instagram, daily updates channel, my email newsletter, and how much money my business makes every single day. So I show that. And then last but not least, I just run you through some strategy, how I'm thinking about getting to my goal of 2 million a year. I've done it before, but with a big ass business, a lot of team members, low profit. So this time on the rules here, as you can see, I'm doing it vastly different. But let's get into the main thing, which is the questions here. So let's put all the filters on here to make sure that we are back on track. Let's see. So here, the first question is from Thomas. It's a long one, which is nice because then we get a lot of context and then it's easier for everyone to understand it. So let's flip it into questions mode here. So Thomas says, hey Fred, really appreciate the depth of knowledge you show in each video. Thank you, man. I just left the sales manager position to begin my own consulting business. Scaled them from 40 grand a month to 300 grand a month in revenue. And I have been the top closer for Iman, Jordan, and Daniel Isles. That is a crazy name drop trio here. Some of the big people and some cool people. Just a bit of background for context. I have two questions. Building a personal brand from scratch can be daunting, but for me the main issue is I am not sure how niche I should make the content. My ICP is people doing 20k to 50 grand per month who want to scale to 6 figures with systems, operations, leadership, etc. At least to start with. Does every single video need to be focused on that ICP, or is it fine to share more personal development stuff like reading, stoicism, health, training, etc.? In my opinion, I just want to share what I'm passionate about, but curious to see how you would structure the brand pillars. Great question, Thomas. Let's take that first question first, I would say. So I think it's a very broad answer. It will be long, but but you also said some cool things here, depth of knowledge. And I think the most important thing that I can do to people is always give as much context as possible, because the more information and context that you have available, the better decisions you can typically make. And I think, Thomas, what would be incredible for you, which works incredible for me and makes my content creation process so much easier, is that I will live and die by the principle that is called show, don't tell, meaning that I only show people in my content what I do from lived experience, meaning that every single thing that I anchor my storytelling post, YouTube videos, Instagram videos in is what I'm doing inside of my own business, or what I've done for my clients, or the lived experiences that have taught me things, all right? And I think, brother, you come from an amazing background, so the fastest way for you to stand out from all the other sales managers is that you've actually accomplished something, meaning that your tips and the things that you can give, your insights, is 10 times more valuable. Not necessarily because your tips are 10 times better, but because your tips and insights are anchored in lived experiences from actual offers, from actual businesses doing multiple 6 figures a month, from actual moments that you remember, like you training a closer that went on to double his close rate and hit a record month, you fixing a operation thing in the pipeline that suddenly found 10% extra on the bottom line for Daniel, or whatever it is, a personal story from you, like objection handling a guy, or ending up getting a guy over the line that said that he didn't want to buy. So it's like, you can tell people how to become better at sales or how to manage or install a sales manager, but no one will really listen. But if you start telling people what you are doing in your business, then I promise you, people, or from your life, Thomas, people will listen. So I think the first principle that you want to install is kind of like the show, don't tell that I just walked you through. And then, as you said, brand pillars. I think if I look at my Instagram, the rule that I have for my Instagram is that I only post content that I would interact with myself. Because if I enjoy producing it, if I enjoy creating it, then I will usually attract clients who are similar to me because they enjoyed the content piece as well. And me as the digital coffee shop, my offer and communication is heavily around my universe of the coffee shop, which is a direct representation of my life. So I'm probably one of the most personal people that you will find out there, because my offer and the thing that I sell is very much proximity to me and my world, meaning that it's a very, very close reflection of who I am, right? Whereas, let's just take a big example in the space, Breast Scales. Breast Scales sells a completely different thing that he is doing himself, because he is a big guy in info and doing millions per month, probably just 1 million, but he sells people on the dream of owning a marketing agency or whatever it is that he's doing. So his offer is very connected to something that he really isn't doing, a program with CSM, all of these things, and it becomes very, very much lifestyle. I think I could have found a better example if I had some more time, but the principle here is that what he is doing himself is vastly different from what he is teaching, whereas mine is a very direct representation. And I think yours will be too, Thomas. So I think for me it's important that I can share like personal stories and content that I find interesting, and that I can share the fact that my dog turned 1 year old, because my dog is a big part of my life. And I think a lot of the learnings that I get personally is usually tied to business, and the business learnings that I get is very usually tied to personal. So I think if your personal brand, Thomas, is something that you want to build for many years to come, I think it's important that it becomes a task that is enjoyable to you, because the only sustainable things in life are things that are enjoyable, because if we enjoy doing them, we'll continue to do so, and we'll also become really good at it. So if you want to have a personal brand for the long run, then I would definitely share the more personal stuff like reading, stoicism, health training, because it's enjoyment to you. If the focus is purely to make money and scale your consulting business and get clients, I would just like do incredibly ICP boring content and probably turn on some paid ads and a VSL, so you don't have to rely on organic, and that works just as fine. That's how I scaled my first coaching business. I just didn't enjoy it as much. So yeah, I think it would be great for you to have like your personal interests, right? Then like your lived experiences and like really like this like sales manager content, because what you're doing here, Thomas, is that you're convincing your audience about the fact that systems, operations, and leadership are the 3 key things in order for them to, let's say, go from 100 grand a month to 250 grand a month. Whereas a media buying agency would say that it would be paid ads that was the thing holding them back. And a YouTube agency on the other side of the street would say that it was their YouTube organic that was lacking. So if people first trust you, Thomas, and as a person, your credibility and the things that you've done, and then they trust your vehicle of sales team, systems, operations, leadership, then there's pretty much a sale there. And then just like have the sales, your sales skills and your belief about scaling a company, because through your lived experience with these clients, Thomas, you've probably also realized what is right and what works well, but most importantly, you've realized what you don't like and what is not true to you. So like sharing that is equally as important. Then share your personal stuff, so like the things that interest you outside of business. And then I wouldn't give you a last pillar. I would just take these 2 pillars and then differentiate them in very different formats. With formats meaning what I went through yesterday of like, you can do slide post carousels, that's totally fine. You can do reels, snippets from YouTube videos. You can do like split screen formats. You can do whatever it is, just like formats that you like. I think that's the most important thing. Yeah, I think cool. And yeah, you summarize it nicely here, because that will give you the best clients in the world, brother. Like, for example, me sharing the fact that I have a dog, I think percentage-wise, if you look at the amount of people that I onboard, there's a lot of them that either grew up with a dog or has their own dog, because it's like, hey, Fred has a dog too, you know? And it's these small things that makes people connect with you, and it's incredibly powerful. And then 2, do I prepare a course, content systems, AI agents, etc. for fulfillment when starting out, or should I build this with time? I should have my first client signing tomorrow for 3 grand a month. Congratulations, for a minimum of 3 months, and I'll just be selling my time and experience. But for future clients, I believe I should have a catalog of ideas, etc. that would be used as another offer in my coffee shop. Yes, correct. Goal is to have the inner circle on one-on-one, and then a couple of clients on rev share agency style. Also love how we optimize for MRR, not chasing record months. I want to have a similar long-term vision whilst building this. Keep up the great work. Great, brother. You just answered my question here in terms of what is the long-term vision of your brand and this company. So then definitely double down on the personal stuff. But I'll give you the plan here because I went through this exact thing in the last year or so. So the first thing, brother, the most valuable thing that you have is your time. Usually the ladder of attractiveness in offers goes from done for you agency work, so like hands-on, then one-on-one, so doing it together with people, and then the last thing, which is people doing it themselves. And you can probably maybe add a group tier in between, right? So like hands-on, one-on-one, group, do it yourself. So the more you can kind of like do it hands-on or do it with people on one-on-one, that's usually what people want. So what I did here, brother, was that I started selling one-to-one, and I sold 8 spots. So this is 2 years ago. Then when I sold these like 8 one-on-one spots, I added all of them to a group, right? So like that was like kind of like inner circle before it was a thing. But I was like, hey, I talked to all of these people, I help these business owners. Here's a Slack channel, connect with each other. I do a group call. If you want to come on, join. If not, totally fine. And then people started coming, and it became really fun. People started connecting, these kind of things. And like suddenly I capped out with like around 25 people on one-to-one. And that's where I created the inner circle, right? So like the inner circle became an offer of its own, where people could, instead of working with me one-on-one, they just only got added to the inner circle, and then people could upgrade to one-to-one if they wanted to. And then all of the things, this is the most important part, is that all of the questions or concerns that people had, things they didn't understand, the guides and templates that I created with people, or all of the internal SOPs that I had, that slowly and surely became the fourth thing, which was just tools, right? And that's basically the menu card here, because then you have do-it-yourself to people that just want your experience, tools, trainings, frameworks. Secondly, you have people that want to work with you intimately, but they're not ready and need a bunch of one-on-one and hands-on. They just want a really cool community, a one-to-one kickoff call, clarity and a plan and some accountability. And then you have the one-on-one, right? And then you kind of like you end up with the menu card, which is my version of an offer stack, which is when you click here tools, like other people, if you guys click it, you would end up on a landing page where you can buy my tools. But all of my clients, they have their classroom in here, right? With all of my ways of doing things. And then they have the onboarding AI that gets them into my world. Menu Card Maker builds their offer. Daily Writer helps them with writing copy. YouTube videos, all of the assets that they build will end up in here. And this is my tools, right? And then I have Inner Circle for people that want to be in the Slack community. 2 weekly calls, 1 monthly meetup, 3 yearly events. They get a one-on-one kickoff call with me, and I answer questions every single day on text so people get help. Then the one-on-one mentorship. Sometimes I sell tickets to a workshop. I also sell a private day with me, and I'm also doing a mastermind for clients, right? And a lot of people think this is unscalable, but in reality, it's just the same work that Thomas here is gonna do, right? Because he's gonna learn all of the tools and all of the things, including in group, through doing his mentorship. So, brother, this is gonna crush for you, man. You have a great resume. It's just gonna be this bad boy here, and you're gonna love it if you make sure that you stay true to yourself. Always remember, it should be a mirror. There shouldn't be a gap between who Thomas is online and who Thomas is as a person, because you can only act for so long, right, before it starts flaking. So that's my best advice to you, Thomas. That was a long answer, but I think it was some incredible questions that I think is very relevant to everyone, meaning how do I get started with coaching consulting? It's by selling your time, then lowering the proximity to you and thereby price so you can get more people in. And it's also about supply and demand in terms of how many hours you have. And then all of the things that you build for clients and together with clients in one-on-one, and the things that you present on workshop and group can be your tools and trainings. And then you have in my opinion, the best menu card in the world, because you can serve everyone and people can cycle in between, which is really cool, which is really good for lifetime value. So I think that will be the only question that we do. I have a table reservation in 10 minutes here. And I think my girlfriend would appreciate that I show up on time. So that is it. This means that we'll take Lenny's and Emil's and Alexander's question tomorrow, which is good. Then we have something to look forward to. And the next thing on the agenda is business stats. I'll just run you through the growth of my channels here. So we start with the daily updates channel. It's currently on 652. Oh, actually, people, I've added a thing. I've updated the sheet right before this call. I added in the newsletter column, and then I just like went into Kit and tracked the previous like days. This revenue, by the way, it's old workshop tickets because I had a direct Stripe link in these emails. So it's not really true, and I don't really know how it tracks it, which is interesting. But I've added a Kit to the tracking here because I really want to track the growth of my newsletter. And can you see the number? Yes, you can. And it's right here. This is the number that I track, how many people that opts in and reads my newsletter, because I send a lot of emails because I really enjoy writing. It's on 1,393. I'll link my newsletter down below. It's actually linked there already. So yeah. Then we have my Instagram profile, 25,969. And we have to do the date, people. And then main YouTube channel. We took it in completely different order today, but hey, that's how it is. 9,183. Oh, there we go. Beautiful. And then of course Stripe. Yesterday, not a single payment, so 0. I had a client who was supposed to pay yesterday, payment plan, but there was something with the card. So as you can see, the client just paid today together with a few other payments. So all good. I don't really care about that, to be fair. I never struggle with installments. All of my clients pay their payment plans. I never struggle with it. It's incredible. I think that's the byproduct of being very honest and clear about what you tolerate and what you don't, and building a lot of the things that you do in public so people can see the work and see the path with you. And also selling without sales calls, because all of the people out there of their own free will, right? None of them were objection handled. Thomas with his sales team would probably disagree a little bit, but hey, it's sales calls are amazing for different offers and different niches and stuff. It's a principle, right? It works. Everything in business works. That is it, people. Then the last thing is strategy. And I think, probably the installment conversation that we just started there is probably a pretty good one to have, just to end off the call here. Because I think the reason why I think my collection rate of payment plans is 100%, that I never have drop-offs, is because I'm very, very conservative when it comes to the expectations that I set. So I try my best to always set low expectations, which in reality is just very realistic expectations, because then it's very easy for me to meet and exceed the expectations. And I never set expectations in a way where I feel like it's unrealistic, right? So it's like that middle ground, because it is things that I do myself. So I'm like, I promise you and I guarantee you that I will teach you exactly what I'm doing. And I'll also promise you and guarantee you that I only teach things that I actually do. So it's this beautiful thing of, I will basically teach you the things that I'm doing, and I only do things that I teach. So it's a loop of the better that I get at writing YouTube scripts, the better I get at tailoring offers and financially engineering, positioning my one-on-one versus group, Instagram, managing my creative director, even running my agency that I also have, and scaling that business, building my personal brand. It's like I just give that to my clients, right? Tomorrow, for example, it's Thursday tomorrow when I'm recording this, and I'm hosting a workshop on like a copywriting handbook of 34 rules that I live by, and when I write stuff on the internet, YouTube videos, newsletters, LinkedIn posts, Instagram reels, and it's so that they can avoid the 3 years that I spent on becoming a decent copywriter, I would say. So now I can take all of my learnings from 3 years and put it into 34 rules of like a handbook, and then I can present that on a call for these people on a full hour. And then throughout the coming weeks, I know that there will be a pattern of like content feedback and basically like copywriting feedback in terms of like this copywriting handbook that I give to people, and then they implement it, they use it, they get feedback. It's just really, really cool, because I also get smarter, right? Because I work with so many clients and I have so many insights into their businesses. So I can I can see so many patterns in the things that I do and works for me. Does it work equally as good for clients? And then there's just this incredible loop. And I think that's also why people stick around. It's because of that thing, and pay their installments, and it's kind of like the traits that you want to have yourself. And the traits that you have yourself is usually the traits of your clients, right? So that was just, it wasn't as concrete as I wanted it to be or tangible for all of you watching. I think it's more philosophy and value based in terms of how I see installments and payment plan collections, and how it actually starts way before the onboarding call. Because it starts with what you tolerate and the people that you let in. And that is it, people. I gotta go to dinner here in beautiful Greece. Thank you so much for watching this video. And as you know, we will see each other tomorrow.